You are welcome to this year's Children Evangelism Ministry CEM week. And of course, you know that once every year, by the grace of God, Children Evangelism Ministry, organizes diverse activities to mark not just the missionary month, but also to celebrate and to reach out to children all over the world. So with this, I want to welcome you to one of the special package for CEM week 2026. And by the grace of God, we're going to be looking at the mission life, the missionary's life. And so in this program, we're going to be having a spotlight on a particular missionary, and I'm sure you are going to love it. In short, it's a very big fish that we have brought to the studio today, and I'm sure that throughout this week you're going to enjoy it, you're going to learn. So one of the things we just want you to do is that make sure you don't keep this to yourself, because we know that it's not just going to be educative alone, it's not just going to be informating alone, it's also going to be very, very inspiring. In short, a number of our young people must hear this. Our young people in churches, in our campuses, our teenagers, wherever they are. You need to hear this, because I know personally that this is going to bless your life, and it's going to bless you a lot. So this is Spotlight on the missionaries' life. And today, or this year, we have a father who is a full-time missionary with Children Evangelism Ministry, and the Lord has helped him, to serve in this ministry for quite a number of years. I'm not going to tell you how many years, because I know that that's one of the questions that I'm sure you will want him to answer. So in this year's Spotlight, we have a father, is a mentor, a father, a friend, a shoulder to lean on, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that the list can go on and on and on and on and on like that. So without wasting time, let me allow him to introduce himself. Let me allow him to introduce himself. So, sir, please introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you so very much. It's a very long introduction too, and I'm grateful for this privilege. I'm not taking it for granted. If I mention my name, please, I'm going to be a little bit just slow so that you will hear it.
No problem.
My names are Charles Amanokum Esho.
All right. So we have Evangelist Charles Esho. Let me skip that middle one. Esho in the house. All right. So please tell us, where are you from?
All right. By origin, I am from a village. Those who have listened to me several times, I used to say I'm a village boy. I'm from a village called Somorika in Akoko, Edo local government of Edo State.
Wow.
And it's a village.
Yeah. I'm sure those from Edo State will be very, very proud. So if you know somebody that's from Edo State, make sure you send this video to them. let them get to hear this. So, just like you said, how was life growing up, as a young person? How was it growing up as a young person?
Yeah, I want to thank God for everything. I am from a family of 5 siblings. My parents were peasant farmers, as people used to say.
Okay.
and we are we were very rich in quote. And the village, my village, for those who knew or who still know the place I called today, is that it's a very remote one, and everybody was a farmer, and we were all struggling. There was only one primary school there then, and then we were all told that if you want to live life, just go to school, even though we don't know what it is. We mix school and farm. And moreover, and plus, maybe some of us we say, how do I mix this one with juju? All of them go together.
Wow.
We didn't know the difference.
Wow.
Even though there were churches, I didn't know the meaning.
Wow.
But we're just following our parents.
Wow.
So I grew up following my parents to Anglican church.
Wow.
Which was there then. There were 3 churches. I think the Anglican.
You still remember?
I remember. The Anglican Church, Christ Apostolic Church,
Wow.
and Salvation Church.
Wow.
But all this, like I said, it was a total mix-up. So we don't know what religion is all about.
So this now takes me to the next question, sir. So what kind of, let me use the word boy, were you when growing up?
Yeah.
In case we have somebody
who looks like me. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to make any boast of myself. I was really I was not I was a gentle boy. Let me use that word.
I'm sure some people are nodding their head.
I was gentle, and most importantly, I was focused. Focused in the sense that even my parents, though both of them never knew ABCD till they died several years ago, but they really value education. And especially my mom came to know that, look, this boy likes education. So they wanted the best for me.
Wow.
But the only place we could get to was primary 6.
Wow.
And I was gentle, let me use that word, but I was desiring to go for education.
Wow. Well, and that also will also lead me to the next question. So were there any ambition? Because you just said that yes, you desire to go to school, and but the means could only take you to just the primary school level. So were there ambitions? Did you have any ambitions, or what were those ambitions then?
Yeah.
As a young person.
Yes, as a young person, like I said, of course, I'm not the first to be educated in my village.
Wow.
Then when I used to see some people, they will come back from school. There's still a man now, as old, very old. In fact, I eulogize him. He's one Daddy Sylvester Ekaro. When he comes from University of Ibadan, then that was in the 70s.
Wow.
And he will come to, maybe they were on holidays, we didn't know the meaning, and he will come around and he will come and teach us in the school. I was just wishing that, look, I want to be a teacher, even though what I can read it to be now is that I wanted to be a professor. So I just love the way both of them will come back and they will be teaching us, and especially mathematics, which seemed to be my best subject. Wow. Then and even up till now, even though I couldn't read it in the high school, but I wanted to be a teacher. Wow. A professor.
Wow. 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 So how do we then, put it side by side, an ambition to become a professor, but now, as the Lord will have it, you are now a professor I mean,
of the good news.
of the professor of the good news, and then the professor in children ministry. Because if there is anything like that, so were there desires, were there ambitions for missionary work, while you were growing up?
I think I will say yes and no, or maybe I start with no.
Okay.
When I was growing up, like I said, I was focused. It's like this book, I must know it. So whatsoever will make me to read, I go for it. In fact, one of the punishments that my mother can give to me is that anyway, we went to school when primary 1 and primary 2 you use slate and chalk.
Wow.
So we didn't use for those of you who were using paper and
who
pencil,
are now using paper and pencil,
and you are lucky. But we didn't get to that point. So the best thing my mother could do, especially if I offend, is to seize my slate.
Wow.
And when she seizes my slate, that is the end of the day. I will just have to obey. So I grew up to just love book. But later in years, I came to realize, especially when I declare to my parents that, look, that is it is after my university, that look, I want to serve God by teaching children. Probably you may ask some questions later, but let me just quickly say that my mother said actually that thing had been there since I was small. That when I was in secondary school, whenever I come back to the village, you just see children coming close to me. Even though I wasn't born again, I don't know what to tell them. So either we play together or we just tell stories.
Okay. So let me ask this, sir. So at that point, I think you have mentioned about two people who used to come home, and perhaps can we say that these are people, or there are other people who influenced you while you were very young, either to be very focused, or to be very disciplined, or when it comes to area of ambitions, and then this is what I want to become in life? Are there people you could actually point to that say, wow, this person actually played a significant role, either directly or indirectly?
Yes. Just as you are talking now, I'm trying to figure out. I will also add that spiritually there were people that were there.
Wow.
But let me start from the academic and being a professional.
No, I mean before going to school.
Yes,
right.
yes, that's what I want to say. In my primary school, like I mentioned, these two people, one of them is late now, but the other one is about 80 something years.
Wow.
He's in the village now, back to the village. He's an elderly man, maybe about 90, and God is helping him. Himself, or both of them, and my primary 4 teacher. Wow. I can still remember this primary 4 teacher, the way he taught us maths. I felt that, in fact, at a point, I'm from the village, I never went out to town. I thought mathematics was developed from his own village. So that he was so good at it.
Wow.
And I felt that, look, when I grew too, I will also be teaching people mathematics, even though I didn't know there's geography, there is chemistry, there is anything.
Wow.
That is on that. So, and do you know something? When I left secondary school, and I didn't know the level of the man's education. When I left secondary school, and I gained admission to read NCE in College of Education, Igwebe, in Edo State. One of those days, I just saw him. I said, this is my teacher. I discovered that he also came
Wow.
to read NCE.
NCE, wow.
I was just imagining. I thought he was a professor that knew everything.
Oh, mathematics.
And something. So what are you coming to read again? Wow. I think he was coming to read CROS something.
But
I was glad.
But the influence
was there. And I was so glad.
And at this point, I want to pause and say that we must appreciate all and encourage all our teachers, especially in the primary school system, especially those who sees it as a calling. Because most times we tend to just look down on them because they are not in the university system. They don't have this kind of ranking and then all of that. But the truth is that if you belong to that, whether you have served in the primary school before as a teacher or you are there now, and I want you to know that it's a noble profession, and God will use you to make a lot of influence. I want to speak to the young people, especially those of us. So those my colleagues that are going for service, and you are privileged to be posted to a school. Please don't take those opportunities for granted, because tomorrow somebody may be in the studio like this and may also be talking, maybe making reference to the influence that God helped you, to have over his or her life. So what I think
can I also mention the aspect of the spiritual?
Okay.
Even though I didn't know anything.
Wow. Okay.
In the Anglican that we used to go, I love the protocol of Anglican, even though up to today I don't understand it as much as I should. But
no,
there was one, they have so many titles, Reverend Canon, something, but all that we knew then is a catechist. There was this man. Whenever he comes, but probably he was like an overseer of our local government.
Okay.
He doesn't stay in our church,
wow,
in our village.
In the
but
village
whenever he
comes around, wow.
I don't know that. Anyway, I didn't know anything about being born again. Like I said, the village was a mix-up of both juju and Christianity and anything. But whenever he comes, I always sense that there is something strange, something great about him. The church service of that day is always it's always different. And fortunately, when I finished secondary school and I went to another local government where I started teaching before again admission to the university, I met him.
Wow.
And that Baba was still correct in doing the work of God. Wow. As a Christian.
Wow.
And in fact, I when I saw him, I don't know how excited I said, so this Baba is still alive.
Wow.
And can you imagine, even up till 2006, when my mom died, he came around.
Wow.
I say,
wow.
So it means that he was around alive and was influencing life, but his Christian life actually made me to know that, look, you can't be doing God's work and you are, and God himself does not love you and give you longevity.
That's true.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.